Today we are going to talk about your season lineup. First I will show you what I'm going to bring and why, and then I'll give you some other ideas what you might bring for it. All decks that I'm showing might change some cards, but this is what I have now. First thing, when you think about your lineup for a tournament, you have to think what everyone else is going to bring. And for seasonal, that's not a really easy thing to do because there are a lot of people in it and most of people don't really know what they are going to bring, so you have to be ready for everything. I wanna make this video rather short, so I won't talk about the decks too much. This is the deck I've played the least, but it's definitely tier 1, like one of the best decks right now. Yeah, I didn't really refine the list. This is the list I got from someone else. I just changed like 2 or 3 cards that I think might be good for the seasonal, like Aftershock and Static Shock. But they are flexible. You can change them for anything else, like more Pool Sharks, more Poro Cannon, more Stress Testing if you like it. So yeah, they are like more of a flexible cards. There's not much to talk about this deck, it's just overall really good. It doesn't really have that many bad matchups. I guess aggro is one of the worst for it, but you should be fine. If you are worried against aggro, you might add like more Pool Sharks. Like I said, I didn't play this deck that much, so this is my ban bait. I hope people will just ban this deck, so I don't have to play it. My second deck for seasonal is my own creation. It's the Fiora Aphelios. It's based around those two champions with Vade Temple. So you really want to trigger Temple as much as possible with either Fiora or Aphelios on board. Aphelios not that much. It doesn't, you don't have to buff Aphelios. If you buff Fiora or Fangs, or even Screeching Dragon, it's really hard to get you off the board. So if one of those stick, you should have a really nice time. I think it's really good for the meta right now. Against aggro, if you draw Fiora with amount of the tricks, you should be able to kill them just with Fiora win condition, or even over buff the Fangs to the point that you are healing more than they are dealing damage to you. And with tools like Star Shaping, Guiding Touch, Single Combat, you should be able to survive against them. Also, Zenith Blade is a really nice finisher for this deck, because whatever you are buffing with Veil Temple, you just give it Overwhelm, and the Overwhelm stays through few turns, so it's not just one turn when you get crashed or anything and you don't get the lethal, you can get it on another turn. And also draws you another Zenith. That's why this is why I like it as a 2-off. You never want to double draw your Zenith Blade. That's why it's not a 3-off. And it's not main strategy for the deck, but it's like alternative win condition. And also it gives HP. So if you put it on Fangs with Veil Temple on board, it's suddenly 4-4. And then buffed by the Veil Temple, it's a 5-5 lifesteal. That's really nuts. And against value decks, you just have Aphelios for a lot of value and finish off with Star Shaping. You have removal for other like TFs, Aphelioses, Jinx, whatever you are dealing with Concerted Strike or Single Combat. And also you have a lot of tricks. I really like the one of Chain Vest. It saves a lot. Like it's really nuts to have a Chain Vest with your Veiled Temple. It lets you trigger really easily. So as my last deck, I bring Zoe Vi with one of Aurelion. The build is very similar to Fiora deck that I just showed you. It has Veiled Temple, Fangs, Star Shaping, so all the good stuff from the Targon. And then we just changed the removal. So we have Beams, Mystic Shots, and Aftershocks as the removal instead of the Massia removal. We also have Ballistic Bot, which is really nice with our Zenith Blades and Veiled Temple. Ballistic Bot can grow really fast in this deck. It can be like 10 attack, overwhelmed by turn like 6-7 easily. So it's also your like alternative win condition. Zoe is obviously all around good. If you have her turn 1, it's quite easy to flip her if opponent is not into killing her. Like, they have to kill her. And then obviously the Vi win conditions is also really good. Like, Vi is really underrated right now. There are a lot of low attack champions in the meta, and you can just pick them off easily. And she's win condition on her own with Veil Temple, Zenith Blade. You give her Overwhelm and suddenly she one-shots your enemy. Overall, this deck felt really good. I had a really good win rate with it. You can also have a curve of like Ballistic Bot into some Dredger, which gives you the board control really easily. So we have Aurelion Sol as a one-off. I decided to do this split because I think I might need the additional value in this deck. I felt like I need the additional value, but it might be a slightly greedy. Like, I'm still not sure about that, but so far Aurelion felt pretty okay. And Zoe is easily removed in this meta. There are a lot of PNZ decks and a lot of elusives right now, so she didn't feel that great. So if you don't know what to bring for seasonal, I may suggest you one lineup, which is discard aggro, pirate aggro, and then as your last deck, either TF Aphelios or TF Fizz or TF Gohard. Which I think TF Gohard is actually underrated a lot right now. It might be a really good thing to do. So those three decks and why, obviously they have a really high win rate, as you can see, and they should be really good into lineups that have something like Timo, Ezreal, any TF deck basically, other than TF Gohard. And you should have a really good time with it. I'm not sure exactly about the decks itself, like what exactly cards you should have in them, because I didn't play those decks in like almost ever. But honestly, any deck you will bring with like 2 or 3 cards different than what is popular should be good. But if you want to keep your lineup as triple aggro, your last deck might be as well. Where is it? Something like Freylord Overwhelm, the famous Ricorex decks. They should be also okay, and they will fit into your strategy. Like, if enemy has weak decks to the aggro, you should just farm them.